You suggest that the graduate of Princeton and Harvard, who for decades has been in the U.S. military, served his country honorably, that he's somehow unqualified to work at the Pentagon. The most egregious accusation you make against him, though, is that he's an extremist because he has a tattoo.
Michael,
could you tell him? The tattoo in question is called a Jerusalem cross. That this is a medieval Christian symbol, goes back a long time. In fact, at Jimmy Carter's funeral, there was a Jerusalem cross on the floor of the cathedral. And on the program for the funeral, there's one other tattoo that some have suggested could be extremist. It's the phrase Deus Vult, which is a medieval Christian slogan, a long traditional slogan that refers to God's will, and it goes back a long way. These are very traditional, very mainstream Christian symbols that not only are not extreme in any way, but which even the people who want to accuse him of extremism couldn't possibly name. That is pathetic.
And as for the cross that you talked about, yes, Deus Vult, which is the cross that he has, and the slogan that he has,
Deus Vult is a phrase.
An old
the
Christian
Jerusalem
cross. The phrase, however, was uttered by Crusaders as they were slaughtering Jews and Muslims during the Second Crusade specifically. So it's not just a random cross. It's not just a random phrase.
That isn't true. The phrase that isn't true.
It is true.
The phrase was uttered after the Council of Clermont when Pope Urban II declared the Crusade. And it was actually probably Dieu le veut, but it's been rendered in Latin as Deus Vult.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with slaughtering Jews.
It
has nothing to do with slaughtering Muslims, because the Muslims had invaded Europe, not the other way around.
Oh my God, are you really saying that the reason the Crusade, which was sent to the Holy Land to liberate the Holy Land, from whom? From Jews and Muslims?
I'll tell you why the Crusade began because the Eastern Emperor asked for help from the Western Pope because the Seljuk Turks were slaughtering Christians in the Holy Land, because those lands were Christian before the Muslims invaded in the 7th century.
Those lands became Christian after the First Crusade, okay? So let's be very clear.
The lands were Christian in the 1st and 2nd centuries, and then the Muslims. Islam didn't exist before the 7th century. What are you talking about?
According to research, both are correct to some degree. But Julie's argument falls apart towards the end of this clip. Julie is right in that it looks as though Christian forces were responsible for the slaughter of innocents during the Second Crusade. Michael is right that the Seljuk Turks pushed into the Holy Land, wreaking havoc on Christian communities. Although the Seljuks were more interested in power than genocide, Michael is right. Islam didn't exist before the 7th century, and that's where Julie loses credibility.